What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Well, we've been pretty busy around here lately. Things have gone pretty smoothly and pretty uneventful. So we finished up corn post spraying and side dress, which Dad's got a little bit of footage from that. I'll go ahead and put in right here.
Well, back at it again this morning. Got about 60 acres left up here at Petersburg, and then we'll get back to Kingman and leave us a little less than 200 acres to finish up all the corn. I've been running by myself today, so it's kind of slowed me down a little bit. Happened to get my own fertilizer and move the truck around, and but we've got this little 8-acre patch right here to finish up, and I'll be done in Park County, and we've got one more field after that, and the corn should be side dressed. All right, so we got Park County done. I think I'm just going to run this to Chipville real quick and pull the rest of the liquid that's in that last tank. I don't think there's probably not much more than 300 or 400 gallons, so the applicator will hold it all. And then we'll at least get moved to the last field tonight. Well, we are on my last fill up. Been a pretty uneventful, and knock on wood, side dress season. Old girl's gonna need a bath when we're done with her though. So we got about 35 acres left, I believe. So hopefully that goes as well as the rest of it has. That should be my last load, Kyle. About time. It's been pretty quick. No, it hasn't been that.
So as you guys could tell, it went smoothly yesterday. I finished up spraying too. Didn't end up recording much just because, well, I was just kind of a couple fields here and there just waiting on Dad as he was going. But we've got one more thing to do with this thing before we get it all cleaned up. It is an absolute mess right now. And some would say it's the most important one. Oh, he's recording.
Well, we finished side dressing yesterday. Oh, I forgot one thing though, is I gotta run some nitrogen on our sweet corn.
Hello, Miss Nagini. Well, you're awfully excited. You're awfully excited? Ow, sharp teeth and sharp claws still. Ow. Little puppy teeth are sharp. Okay, so we got this little patch over here. You guys remember what this is? Well, this is nothing yet, but it's our sweet corn. And it is so weedy because our sprayer guy was terrible about remembering this patch. Now, that's me. And I went by it several days and totally forgot. But I sprayed it yesterday, so these weeds should be dying. I don't want to till them up or rip them up yet because I want to give plenty of time for them to take up the chemical. You can see the tops are starting to curl down already. But we've got to side dress this patch real quick because, oh yeah, even our sweet corn gets a full rate of nitrogen. So what we're gonna do, he's gonna do a whole pass so that even where our next corn plantings go, we'll already have the nitrogen they need. Now, fun little fact for you guys. Last year, when Dad side dressed our sweet corn, he was off a row and literally used the knives and took out the entire row. And I mean, obviously when one's off, they're all off. And there was probably a 30-foot stretch that he just wiped the sweet corn out. So let's hope he doesn't do that this time. Woohoo! That was close. Right between the rows. Now I wonder why he's going that far. Because that's all beans over there. I honestly don't have a clue what he's doing. Little test plot. See what beans do with 52 gallons of nitrogen, I guess. But alright, as simple as that. Sweet corn, nitrogen, sweet corn. They have everything they need now to hopefully give us some pretty good ears here in a month or so. We're officially done with that thing. And that means once Kyle gets back, he gets to start washing on that thing because it is filthy. Not to mention, let's get the nitrogen off that bar as quick as possible. What'd you run that clear to the road for?
See if it makes a difference.
That's exactly what I said. Little test plot. See if beans like 52 gallons of nitrogen. Or did you run it lighter?
70.
Oh, jeez.
Some of that's going to be setting for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see what beans do with how many? 350 units of in. Ended up having to hook onto the sump to get that last 50 gallons out. Just watch your head. That'd cut you open pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't need that.
No. Alright, that 500 gallons is now in the tank. And we'll take it over and drop it into our fertilizer containment when we get a chance. And most likely we'll sit there till next spring. Actually, I know it will, because we don't need it for anything. Alright, you guys remember this field that I replanted at 2 o'clock in the morning a couple weeks ago? Well, you can see... Can you see some of the bigger ones? That was the old stuff, and then we got some new growth right here. Old stuff, new growth. There's Dustin's summer right there. Good old roadside mowing. What do you think? It still looks like trash. Alright, went ahead and got out our 17.5-foot long string. And normally when we're on 15-inch centers, to do a population stand count, you count the rows on each side. But since we came in here and replanted, so this is one of the replant rows, and this is one of the replant rows, we're more or less, if you want to put it on a 7.5 inch spacing. So we need to count the two 15s plus the two new 15s. Count all four, and that should be our population. So I've got 8. What'd you get? 90. So we've got 160,000 pop right there, which is heavy. Heavy to say the least. They say 100,000 population stand will basically maximize your yield. Anything above and beyond that, they consider basically
It's consistent
100,000. That's a huge. When you get that low on population, that's a huge factor. So 160,000 pop is way more than we need. But the nice thing about that is things tend to canopy a little sooner. Basically adds to your weed control. I think I did a little bit of a rookie mistake, and I don't think I was putting the beans quite deep enough. So part of them didn't get into moisture like they needed to. Which,
it was so dry at the time.
Yeah, and
then until we got that rain.
So that's the thing. That's why it still looks pretty scarce. But then you come down here and like they're still pushing, because these ones that were a little shallow have finally gotten the moisture they needed to germinate. So there's a lot, once you start digging around, there's a lot that is still pushing. So that count we just did on the end row was a lot less, but we're still pushing that 97, 96 I think is what we counted. So you're still at that 100,000 mark, and I would say more or less it's pretty consistent. Is it ideal? Absolutely not. Are we gonna gain much by coming out here with the bean planter on June 3rd and throwing another 50,000 at it?
And then they're still popping.
I don't think so. And like that Dad said, we get rain that they're calling for tomorrow. Some of this replant's still pushing. So you end up with another 10,000, 15,000 pop. I mean, you're over that 100,000 mark. So it's like, what are we going to gain coming back out here with the bean planter right now? Nothing but wasting our time and fuel. We are just going around checking all our fields today. It's been a while since we've come out and checked the wheat. So we're doing some things a little different with this wheat field than we've done in the past. So we chose a shorter hybrid. I mean, it's not even waist high, probably 3 feet tall. And we upped our nitrogen rate once again. So this wheat and this, I think right here, has 160 pounds of N on it, which is way more than we have ever put on. The rest of the field's got 140, which is still at the top end for us, but we did a pass at 160 just to see if it was worth it. The 160 paired with the shorter hybrid and a growth inhibitor that I put in with the post application should keep this from going down. So we'll see if that's kind of becomes the norm in the future, or if we have a huge strip here that's absolutely flat in a month and we kick ourselves for trying and we never do it again. But you never learn those things unless you keep trying to improve. And this wheat, I will say, looks so good right now. Uh-oh, he's slacking. He's not out here. But now that we know we don't need that tractor to throw on the bean planter real quick, see how Kyle's getting along cleaning this thing. Looks a lot better. He's got a good start on it. Oh, he's got his fancy waders on.
When all your hoses on your handle leak, you get more wet from the hose spraying you than you spraying yourself.
That's true. It's crazy how they were shiny. You put a little bit of water on them.
Yeah, just from them drying.
Just from a little bit of water on the nitrogen to wash it off, and those blades rest. Check out Dad's newest purchase. Fancy little 2-row 3-point planter. Perfect for our sweet corn patch. Still got to get a few meters for it. Dad said those should be in it here in a few days, but hopefully this will pull that. It's the wrong color though. It's just a very simple, gonna be ground driven mechanical. Seeing as how it will plant 2 rows of sweet corn at a time, 3 different times a year, it's more than enough for that. No, back down. We gotta strap, I think that'll work, we just gotta strap the front. Oh, yeah. Watch out, doggos. Alright, well Dad's gonna go play in the dirt. That new planter really doesn't have any kind of downforce. It's pretty rudimentary. And we were told it doesn't like no-till very well. So he's gonna get that little tiller out there, see if he can't chew up a few inches and make it a little easier to plant that sweet corn. But Kyle and I, we've put it off long enough. So we're gonna work on getting this thing cleaned up before this stuff sets even harder. So that's good right now because we're not worried about the boom yet. Right now, we're just going to get all these nozzles cleaned up so that when I pull them those have all been cleaned. Like this one. When I pull them to get all that residual crap out of there, it'd be nice if the outsides are already clean.
And they don't have self-cleaning nozzles where it like back flushes each filter, a little shot of water out the front.
I don't know how that would work. That'd be really nice, but
Yeah, there can be.
yeah. All right. Well, while Kyle works on that, look at all the crap coming out of that filter already.
This one has crap from the big one.
But I got to get these off. I got 3. Woo! About soaked my foot. Water's clean. I ran plenty of water through it, but look at that. Yeah. But let's go ahead and get these off and just see how much crap built up in these over all my corn acres. I've seen worse on that, but look at all that nastiness, and I just dumped that all over my sprayer boom. Daggone it. That wasn't very smart. That one's got lots of stuff in her. All right, now that I got all my filters out, I'm ready to put some fresh water in and flush the entire system very well. We're gonna kind of rotate back and forth, just pushing water through the boom, through each nozzle. Since all of our screens are out, all of the nozzles are out, once I kick my pump on and open my valves, everything should flow with very little to no restriction and just act as a good flush to get everything out of the system. All those little particles that the clay-based chemicals leave behind. So let's do this. Let's pump on. We want it to come out of both nozzles, and we want just a strict 70 psi. Let's go. We've got pump and go. So they're coming out of both nozzles. Just getting everything out of the system. Well, I just made a major rookie mistake. Watch this. Turn my pump on. See all those nozzles that instantly come on? Literally, both of these and the back two of these. So what I did, what I was thinking, is that by taking out all my filters and nozzles, I would remove all the restrictions and I would be able to blow any particles right out the boom. Well, I guess the PWM nozzles don't work that way. And I was thinking that by opening the valves on the nozzles all the way, things would flow through. Wrong. So now I have a ton of those little particles all plugging my nozzle valves, which is why they're not shutting off. So I get to go through and pull each one of these apart one by, oh, that's good on it. One by one for these. I gotta pull these out very carefully because they can break very easily. And then take it apart. And look right there, that little piece. It's like, I don't even know what it is. A small rock or something. But that's it. And then I gotta get this O-ring off. Get it back where it belongs. And then I can thread it back together. And then I gotta torque it properly with this tool. At which point I can thread it back in the nozzle body. Put the coil back on. Pin it back in. And see how it stopped the one from leaking? Yeah, now I gotta do it to the other one. And I gotta do it to these. And every single one that's leaking, which is probably another 15 down the line, I've got to do that. So, note to self, those filters need to stay in. Lesson learned. Well, I finally got all of my nozzles cleaned out, I think. I'm sure I missed one or two here. I put my filters back in. I'm satisfied with how clean the machine is now. I left the boom full of fresh water because, I don't know, something about leaving air in the boom and letting the inside dry out. If there is a residual, I don't like it. So I leave it full of water. Now, Kyle got all our nozzles clean, which means we just have 194 of them to put on. Yeah. Yeah, you already took them off and washed them. Now you got to put them back on.
That's easy. Washing them sucks.
Washing them sucked, I know. Alright, well, other than giving the old boom a good pressure washing, the solution system on this thing is ready for beans. I'm going to leave you guys with some knowledge. Today, June 3rd, is apparently International Egg Day. So in case you were wondering, it is estimated that the average person eats 161 eggs per year. I know that is grossly underestimated for me, because there are times when I'll be on an egg kick and I'll eat upwards of 6 eggs every single day for breakfast. And that adds up to 161 eggs very quickly. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. We are finally getting a break from the fields, but things will pick up very soon once again once these beans get a little bigger or they get too dirty that we don't want to wait any longer. But until then, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.